device gets FDA approved. All right, so this is the regulatory pathways. So let's talk about mainstream medical wearables. Go ahead.
Just wondering, do you know details about the electrical part of those advances? Like, do you need to be FDA approved or cleared? Do you also need, like, if you have electrical components in your device, does it need to have like UL or CE certification?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So for some devices, I know, they generate like heating or, RF, radiation. So there's a threshold for those, parameters. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, they are wearables that are already cleared as medical wearables. And the most commonly used one is Apple Watch. It has several functions that are FDA cleared. So the first one is called irregular reason notification. So this function uses PPG to intermittently detect irregular reasons in the background. So then once it detects, irregular reasons, it's going to send you a notification saying that, you might need to consult a physician. So this was 510(k) cleared back in 2018 for users 22 years and older with no prior history of AFib. This is the first one. The second one is the ECG app. So, to measure ECG using your Apple Watch, you have to put a finger onto this knob. It's called the digital chrome. So put your finger on that knob that it measures the ECG. So it can only do 30 seconds recording. Once you put a finger on that knob, it creates a circuit that resembles what you need to do lead one ECG. So this device can be used for active diagnosis of AFib. So this is actually a very big deal. You buy your Apple Watch as a consumer electronics. Then now we tell you this is a medical device. It can be used to diagnose AFib. So the device is going to tell you you might have AFib. So this is a big deal. It became a medical device. And this ECG app was first FDA, it's called de novo cleared back in 2018. So because it's the first of its kind for OTC AFib detection, so it has had to go through de novo. Then in 2020, so an updated version went through 510(k) by using its initial version as a predicate. So now the question here is, the ECG app can only do 30 seconds. Why can't we do longer? Why don't we just do continuous recording? The hardware is already there. Why don't we do continuous recording? Yes.
I have two guesses.
Yes.
The first one is that in a user perspective side, since I have to hold my finger on the digital crown, it would be annoying if I had to do it for like continuously.
Yeah.
The 30 seconds is probably the most I will tolerate also. The second could be maybe there's like a drift. So after a long time, the data becomes like drifting away from the actual start.
Yeah.
Also because of privacy, you don't want your data always like to be looking at. So.
Yeah, that's also a point. Yeah. So I think these are important points. So from the perspective of regulation, once you try to do continuous monitoring, your data will, because you're carrying your watch around, your data will be very noisy, and your algorithm is just not ready to do real-time analysis of this very complicated data. So the regulatory bar is much higher if you want to do continuous recording. So the third function is called AFib history. So it tells you, AFib history. It was FDA cleared in 2022, and Apple Watch also has, SpO2 temperature monitoring and also sleep tracking features. They do not have FDA clearance, so they are considered wellness tools only. So they are not going to tell you, like you have in the Apple Watch, they will just say this is for informational purpose. It's not intended for medical purpose. But there are other advanced watches and rings that received FDA clearance. So there's this, Wise scan watch. So it uses ECG to detect AFib and PPG to measure SpO2. Both were 510K cleared in 2021. There's this, ring that uses pulse oximetry for SpO2 and the pulse rate. This is also FDA cleared. There's another ring, that did something similar. It uses pulse oximetry for SpO2 and the pulse rate, also FDA cleared. Then we do have continuous monitors for ECG. So we have, Xiopatch. We have the E-Patch by Philips. We have, the Body Guardian by Boston Scientific. They can record ECG for like 2 weeks or even, a month. But, they are really just data loggers. They record data, store data on the device. They do not do any analysis at all. So this is a kind of like different strategies. Apple use, does 30-second real-time monitoring, and these continuous monitors do long-time recording, but they don't do any analysis. Both strategies work to get FDA clearance. These devices are prescription only. So because we need clinic oversight and interpretation of data, you are not going to buy them off the counter. But for simpler parameters like temperature, there is FDA cleared continuous real-time monitors. So this is like something like a band-aid that you can put on the body, and you can see temperature on an iPad. So this band-aid has wireless BLE. There's a BLE chip in it, and it works for 72 hours. Then you can dispose of the device.